Douglas Ross, the Prime Minister has apologised and he's paid his fine. Is that enough?
Well, he had to apologise, and I think everyone who received a fixed penalty notice has to apologise and explain their actions, because, I absolutely understand and share the anger and fury that people have right now. It's the same anger and fury they had when these stories started to come out at the tail end of last year and earlier on this year. As I say, it's right that he's apologised for this, but it doesn't take away from the anger, the frustration and the fury that many people continue to have.
Including you.
Yeah, I haven't tried to hide my anger and frustration at this in the past. I do believe now that the situation is different given other global and European events, but, I've never condoned the actions that were alleged to have taken place and now been confirmed by the issuing of the fixed penalty notices. Because
of those actions, which have been confirmed, you used to think that he was unfit to lead your party, he'd broken the rules, he'd misled Parliament. That hasn't changed.
No, but the situation in Ukraine has. We now see some of the actions that have been taken in Ukraine by Russian forces are clearly war crimes, and we see shallow graves as they try to hide the atrocities.
Sorry to interrupt you, but none of that has anything to do with who is the Prime Minister of the UK.
Well, I would disagree with that to an extent, Colin, because the President Zelensky believes that Prime Minister Johnson, Boris Johnson, and the UK government have led the way in many respects to the global response to the situation in Ukraine. President Zelensky was very clear that the sanctions led by the Prime Minister and the UK government have been beyond that of other European neighbours and other global
But none of that would change if you changed Prime Minister within the party, would it?
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
None of that would change if you changed the leader of your party.
Well, it would in terms of there would be a period, as you will remember from the last leadership election, in the days gone past, it was just the Conservative MPs who decided who was the leader of the party. It now has to go out to the party membership, and that takes several months. I think it was 2 months or more the last time we replaced a Conservative leader and Prime Minister.
But there's no vacuum. The government still exists. You would still have a Deputy Prime Minister standing in.
Well,
Boris Johnson might even continue until that new leader was in place.
Well, indeed, if Boris Johnson continued while a leadership election was ongoing for his replacement, what would that do to the stability of the UK's response to these atrocities?
Probably
what would that
not
do
very
to
much.
Vladimir Putin?
It probably wouldn't make much difference, would it?
Well, Vladimir Putin would see that as a win. This instability in the UK, one of the strongest allies to Ukraine at the moment, that would be a win for Vladimir Putin, for a war criminal like Putin, and I'm not going to give him that advantage in this battle.
But let's talk about Boris Johnson. Do you think he's fit to lead your party into the general election?
Well, I've said, I'm being asked right now, what's my response on the day that these fixed penalty notices have been issued with the current situation that's going on in Ukraine. And I've said now is not the right time to replace the leader of the Conservative Party and the Prime Minister. But I'm not going to get into hypotheticals about what happens. Well, it is.
There's nothing hypothetical about it. We're going to face an election, a general election in the next couple of years. Is he a fit person to lead your party into that?
I'm not going to look into the future. I'm dealing with the situation right now. And I'm being asked, I'm coming on to your programme to explain my position right now, and that's all I can do is look at the situation on the ground here right now and the situation we're facing with this global conflict.
Chancellor's also been fined. Should he resign?
Well, again, I've said everyone who has been issued with a fixed penalty notice, including the Chancellor and the Prime Minister, have to apologise for their actions and they have to explain their actions. There are clearly questions that have to be answered here.
But he's got nothing to do with Ukraine, which is your reason why Boris Johnson shouldn't quit. Should the Chancellor quit? He's got nothing to do with that situation.
Well, I wouldn't say the Chancellor has got nothing to do with the situation, because obviously the sanctions...
Not the same argument as the Prime Minister that you were making a few minutes ago, though, is it?
Well, it's similar, because obviously the sanctions imposed have a monetary impact. There are obviously budgetary concerns that have to be taken in terms of military aid and assistance. So all these things combine to the UK government's response to the situation in Ukraine.
But surely the Chief Secretary of the Treasury would make those decisions until a new Chancellor was appointed. You don't have to have an election for a Chancellor. The Prime Minister could appoint one the next day if there was a resignation, even the same day if he wanted.
Yeah, but it's still the stability issue that I'm trying to get at, Colin.
You're still hedging your bets.
Sorry, no, I'm just saying, we need stability at the moment. The President Zelensky, when he addressed the United Kingdom Parliament, and I was in the chamber when he spoke to MPs, said the support that he'd received from the UK government, he did single out the Prime Minister, but the UK government as a whole has been crucial.
He said in Parliament that he didn't attend any parties. Well, the police have obviously decided that he did attend a party. There was a birthday cake at it and everything. Do you think he misled Parliament?
Well, that's up to the Prime Minister, to the Chancellor of the Exchequer to explain what they've said in Parliament, but that's for them to do. I'm only...
But do you think he misled? Do you as an MP think he misled Parliament? He said he didn't attend any parties. He clearly did.
Well, I'm only responsible for what I say in Parliament and what I say and do. It's up to others to defend or otherwise what they have said or done.
And what you said in March 2021 was that lying to Parliament and breaking the ministerial code is a straight red. You said that about Nicola Sturgeon. Why is it the situation for her but not for the Chancellor or the Prime Minister?
Well, of course, we know that Nicola Sturgeon did lead the Scottish Parliament. A cross-party committee found her guilty of that, and Nicola Sturgeon remains a member of the Scottish Parliament and First Minister.
But we've just heard today that the Prime Minister and the Chancellor have misled Parliament. Isn't the same situation for them?
And they will have to respond to that, and that's what I'm saying.
But they should face a straight red in your book, surely.
And that's what I'm saying. They have to answer to these claims. They have to answer the questions about that. I'm not saying anyone should just accept this and move on. There are serious issues that remain as a result of this. But I'm also saying at the same time...
Do you need VAR for a rerun of this?
Well, Colin, as I said, you know, the First Minister, it was found by a cross-party committee of MSPs misled Parliament, and she remains as First Minister in Scotland.
So you think Boris Johnson, the Chancellor, should remain regardless of what they've done then?
I'm saying they should answer questions about this, what they've said in Parliament in the past, and now update that in terms of what they have clearly been found guilty of by the Met Police with the issue of the fixed penalty notices.
Douglas Ross, thanks for joining us in Scotland tonight.